eyes so you see my vision. Unite the souls so there's no division. Look into the future, we see all seasons. Aiming for the top, but what's the reason? Hands to the sky and realize we're free. We become the legends we were meant to be. Now open your eyes and you will see. I can lead you home, just follow me.
Alright, welcome back and thanks for tuning in to another episode of barSILENCE. My name is Jameson, and I'm your host. barSILENCE is a Superpod Network production that's dedicated to exploring the very best video game music in each episode. If you haven't yet, head over to barsilence.com to find an easy link to subscribe on whatever your favorite podcatcher is. You can also go to superpodnetwork.com to catch this show and other great indie gaming podcasts covering games from the past, present, and everywhere in between. And of course, if you're looking for the best, 24/7 around-the-clock video game music radio station, you should check out 8B's Radio. When new episodes come out, you can listen to this show live at 8beats.co. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the music of Tetris Effect that was created by Tetsuya Mizuguchi and the team at Enhance. Now, some of you might remember that way back in episode 5, I covered the history and music of Tetris in an episode that was titled Tetris Effect, with an A, as in the verb meaning to influence or change. The point of that episode was to talk about the impact that Tetris has had on video games since its debut in 1984, as well as covering how the musical identity of Tetris games have changed and grown over the years. Now, we're here 42 episodes later and we're talking about Tetris Effect with an E. The name of this game comes from the very real psychological phenomenon that happens when an activity becomes so engaging that it continues to occupy your thoughts long after you've stopped doing it. And the name isn't just clever marketing, it's actually the design philosophy behind the entire game. Rather than hoping players would eventually reach that flow state, Tetris Effect was designed so that every part of the experience encourages it from the very beginning. Historically, most Tetris developers had spent their time reinventing how Tetris was played. New modes, portable versions, multiplayer, hyper-competitive play, but there was one early version that took a different approach, asking what Tetris could feel like instead. Way back in 1991, the consumer electronics company Philips introduced their extremely expensive interactive media center called the CDI. At the time, Philips wasn't positioning the CDI as a traditional gaming console. Instead, it was marketing it as a high-end multimedia device intended for an adult audience. So, rather than creating just another version of Tetris, Philips POV set out to create an experience that reflected the CDI's ambitions as a platform. By taking advantage of the CD storage space, they replaced the common pixel art backgrounds with sweeping full-motion videos of forests, waterfalls, and quiet landscapes, creating a version of Tetris that felt calm, reflective, and almost meditative. The soundtrack also played an equally important role. Jim Andron's lush, new age fusion sound helped define the game's atmosphere and treated the mood as seriously as the game mechanics themselves. So while commercially Tetris CDI probably never became the breakout success that Philips had hoped for, it did, however, demonstrate that Tetris could be interpreted as something more than a puzzle game. Before I get into things though, I want to be candid and let you know that Enhanced Games actually reached out to me and a handful of other video game music podcasts to see if we'd be interested in spending some time with Tetris Effect Connected, Res Infinite Area X, and or the new Lumines Arise. CJ from Enhanced shared artwork, background materials, and access to high-quality soundtrack files to help explore the games and their music a little more in depth. There were no expectations attached either, no pitch. The funny thing was that I already had a Tetris Effect episode in the works at the time, but I had actually put it aside for other ideas first. So the timing couldn't have been more perfect. Now, to get back to the game, looking at the journey that led to Tetris Effect helps provide the context for just how long these ideas had been coming together. By the time the Tetris finally arrived at Enhance, Tetsuya Mizuguchi had already spent nearly 20 years exploring the relationship between music, visuals, and player interaction. Mizuguchi actually got his start in the industry at Sega in the 1990s, but it was the Dreamcast era that finally provided the processing power to let him develop ideas that just weren't possible before. In 2001, those ideas finally came into focus when he created Res. In the game, every action the player performs becomes part of the same audio-visual experience. Locking onto enemies, firing shots, and moving through the world all trigger sounds and reactions while also transforming the environment around you. The game was a brilliant experiment in synesthesia. Res's colorful wireframe aesthetics and sensory intensity made for a groundbreaking piece of design. Yet, it was so distinct that it practically existed in a world of its own. So the next challenge was to see if those same ideas could work in something more approachable. For years, Mizuguchi had dreamed of creating a music-driven version of Tetris, but licensing restrictions made that extremely difficult. So instead of waiting for that to work out, he created Lumines Puzzle Fusion. This PlayStation Portable launch title went on to earn widespread praise from both players and critics, with GamePro even calling it a mini-rave in your hands. And eventually, that success led Mizuguchi into conversations with Hank Rogers of the Tetris Company, who, as a fan of Res and Lumines, saw that Mizuguchi's creative philosophy was exactly the evolution that Tetris needed. Then, shortly after, Mizuguchi left Q Entertainment and founded Enhance. This gave him the independent framework that he required to finally make the Tetris game that he had been dreaming about for years. During the earliest stages of development, the team actually referred to the project as Zen Tetris, which actually kind of mirrors what Philips' POV also started with decades earlier on the CDI. Both of these projects shared the same belief that the presentation of Tetris could be just as thoughtfully designed as the gameplay itself. So, as Enhance continued to develop and playtest the game, they discovered that remaining in a constant state of tranquility just wasn't enough to stay interesting. Tetris has always been a game that's been built around rising tensions followed by moments of release, and its presentation needed to reflect those same emotional rhythms. Whereas Tetris CDI was creating an atmospheric setting for a puzzle game, Tetris Effect transforms that presentation into an active part of the experience. Every visual effect, musical cue, environmental transition, and moment of feedback exists to reinforce what the player is feeling in that moment. The goal was then no longer Zen Tetris. It was to create a version of Tetris capable of drawing players so deeply into a state of flow that it matters from the first line that they clear to the last. As Enhanced began development, virtual reality was finally becoming accessible to consumers. More importantly, it also proved to be the ideal medium for the kind of experience the team wanted to create. So rather than treating VR as a novelty or a separate mode, the team designed the game for both traditional displays and virtual reality from the very beginning. And while the standard display version stands on its own as a remarkable experience, VR removes the final physical barrier between the player and the game, allowing them to step inside the world that Mizuguchi has spent more than 2 decades trying to create. Of course, VR and gameplay are really only just parts of the Tetris Effect experience. The other important part comes from the incredibly complex and integrated soundtrack that was created by Hydelic. This Tokyo-based musical duo is led by composer and sound director Noboru Muto, alongside of his longtime collaborator Takako Ishida. From the very beginning, Hydelic worked closely with the team to shape how the music, visuals, and gameplay would respond to one another. That meant that the soundtrack wasn't simply added after the game was finished. They directly helped to define how the experience itself would feel and sound. The result is a remarkably diverse soundtrack that moves effortlessly between ambient house, jazz, futuristic new age, techno, synthpop, and a surprising number of other styles. And in every stage of the game, you're introduced to the music in a very similar way, beginning first with a completely deconstructed version of the track. As you move pieces and clear lines, the environment around the playfield comes to life in increasingly more interesting ways. Meanwhile, new melodies appear, rhythms grow more complex, and additional instruments continue to be revealed. By the end of the stage, what began as a simple musical idea has grown into a rich audiovisual experience that's evolved alongside the player's progress. So, in a sense, that makes the player the final instrument and the glue that keeps this remarkable multi-sensory experience together. Now, for this episode, I wanted to work through our musical selection in a similar way. The complete soundtrack contains more than 60 songs, which is a lot to choose from. So, I've selected 15 tracks and arranged them into a synesthesia-inspired mix that slowly expands in scope, style, and energy, much like the journey that the game takes you on. If you want to learn more about Tetris Effect or Enhance, you can check out enhanced-experience.com or take a look in the show notes because I'll leave a link for you there. Now, I think it's our turn to see, hear, and feel the music of Tetris Effect. So sit back and let's become the final instrument that makes it all connect. Enjoy the mix, and I'll be back after that.
മനസ്സുമായാടി പാടിച്ചേർന്നല്ലോ കരളുമായി 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 മനസ്സുമായാടി പാടി കരളുമായി മനസ്സുമായാടി പാടിച്ചേർന്നല്ലോ കരളുമായി മനസ്സുമായാടി പാടിച്ചേർന്നല്ലോ കരളുമായി മനസ്സുമായാടി പാടിച്ചേർന്നല്ലോ തരി
Уже поздно. Кажется, получается.
Alright, that's the show. I hope you guys enjoyed the soundtrack to Tetris Effect Connected by Hydelic. If you want to interact with the show and tell me what you think about my selections in this episode, you can follow me on a variety of social media platforms. That includes Blue Sky, Threads, and Instagram. Following the show in those locations are exactly where you can find show updates, see great screenshots, artwork, music clips, and various information about the games that are featured in each episode. Check the show notes to follow along on your favorite platform of choice. If you're enjoying this show's selection of incredibly great video game music, please consider taking a moment to leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Overcast, YouTube, or wherever you're listening to this show, because I'd really love to hear what you think. Don't forget, you can go to barSILENCE.com to listen to past shows if you've missed any, and of course, if you're feeling giving, you can always support barSILENCE on Patreon. For already subscribing, I want to thank the members of the Legion of VGM for supporting the show. Zoe, Alusa, Cameron, Reptile, Poppy the Masked Eden, and Genova's Child, you Tetraminos are the best, and I really hope you enjoyed this episode. Now, if you want to get connected and become a member of the Legion of VGM, you can subscribe for as little or as much as you want. Be sure to check the show notes for a link to learn more. I would also like to thank friends of the show and Legion members Aaron of the excellent gaming podcast Super Pod Saga, as well as his VGM podcast called Chillscape, and of course, Professor Tom of the Shujin Academy VGM Club. You can and should check out both of their shows wherever you find your podcasts, as well as on TerraPlayer.com. Alright, like always, I've got an excellent set of tunes to end the show with. Earlier, I mentioned that CJ Enhanced also shared the soundtrack to Luminous Arise. This game is the first brand new entry in the series since 2012's Luminous Electronic Symphony for the PlayStation Vita. Rather than treating Tetris Effect as a branching path in Mizuguchi's creative journey, Luminous Arise brings what Enhance has learned back to the Luminous series and continues a creative lineage that began all the way back in 2001 with Res. So I've selected 3 tracks that offer a great preview of what Hydelic has created for Luminous Arise that I think you're really gonna like. Anyway, that's all for now. Enjoy this final set, and as always, thanks again for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.
That's just how